Aloha, I'm Elena Hugh, your host for PTC-TV. On behalf of the Pacific Telecommunications Council, aloha and welcome to PTC-17 in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii. PTC-17, Changing Realities, brings together attendees from more than 70 countries for a 3-day conference to focus on networking, building and renewing relationships, and planning for what the new year will bring. This installment of PTC-TV is the first of 4 programs specially created for PTC-17. A new program will air each day featuring executive interviews, keynote session coverage, program information, social event highlights, and more. Allow me to welcome you to Honolulu and have a great conference. Would you like a quick and easy way to keep track of the conference program and schedule? Download the PTC mobile app and learn more about PTC-17 sponsors. View the complete program and find out where meeting suites are located. You can do all of this and more. Search for PTC-17 in the App Store or in Google Play. PTC-17 is made possible in part by the generosity of the PTC-17 sponsors. Mahalo to each of the PTC Platinum sponsors. Thank you for all of your support.
Digital Realty, one of the world's largest data center companies, has a solution that will help you optimize your IT scaling needs while mirroring the intended agility of the cloud. It's called Service Exchange. Now you can create and enable public and hybrid cloud applications by utilizing one private connection to access multiple cloud providers, networks, and partners. Powered by Megaport, the leading provider of elastic cloud connectivity, Service Exchange increases your business capabilities and makes it easier for you to drive innovation while giving you the reach you need. Connecting from a global foundation with the ability to scale your infrastructure. Actively manage your cloud connectivity in real time to any service on an open platform. We also open the door to a global ecosystem that lets you connect to other cloud services. Contact Digital Realty today.
Hello everyone, my name is Nadia Tafaha from Digital Realty. I'm joined by Mr. Anthony Wasabi. Currently, we are in the Digital Realty office here in chilly New York City. We are certainly counting down the days until we get to go to sunny, warm Hawaii, since PTC's conference is right around the corner, which we're very excited about. And I'm pleased to have Tony here with me as PTC's president to answer a few questions. So thank you, Tony, for joining me today. So I wanted to first ask you about the theme of changing realities and how, what are your thoughts on that theme and how is that going to impact the conference this year?
Well, changing realities is, I think the theme really demonstrates how business or this area of focus within telecoms or tech sector has changed. So this conference evolved out of a voice trading business and then moved into data services and then IoT, satellite. And I think it has really taken a step into, hey, we're not just focusing on one area of the business, but hey, we want to open it up to everybody.
Absolutely. And clearly, there's really no end to the innovations that are currently happening in the landscape. So what do you think that means as a whole for the telco industry?
With the incidence of new players within the market and new technologies, there's a huge opportunity for folks to evolve. I think we'll continue to see an evolution within this business, and it's exciting. I think we're all looking forward to what the next, as I mentioned earlier, what's going to happen. So for us, as individuals that are within this industry, we always want to see what the next area of focus is going to be.
And so for any first-time attendees that are coming to PTC's conference this year, what recommendations or advice would you give to them just to be able to maximize their time there? Sure.
So I think firstly and foremost, we want to welcome all the new attendees and all the new members, which is super important to us because that makes this organization flourish and grow. And that's partly why I'm involved, and we obviously do a lot of great work, but we want to ensure that new members meet new people, do a lot of networking. Clearly, that's super important, but also understand what's going on in the business and attend some of the panels and some of the speaking engagements. There's a lot that folks can learn, and I think it's a learning experience for everybody.
So when the conference is over, what's happening within PTC all year round?
So I think we want to reflect on kind of what we learned, what happened. But when the conference is over, PTC as an organization still functions. We do a lot of great community-based work. It is a nonprofit organization that we're super involved with, and we're fully functional, involved in the community and promoting our various different activities globally.
Before we do sign off, any last words?
Yeah, no, I just want everybody to, obviously enjoy PTC, take advantage of the surroundings, understand that it's not just about the evening activities, but it's also about the activities that take place during the day. And I think it's all about learning.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate
And
you spending some time with me.
Absolutely.
Our world moves ever faster, and wonders never stop. Help arise before disaster, and phones can save a crop. Mighty drills know when to dig before the markets do. Brilliant minds can make it big with smart advice to see them through. You can make the world your office. Know when packages arrive. Tailor what your network offers. Use machines to stay alive. You can keep track of your fleet, help your city run on time, do things better on the beat, protect yourself from cybercrime. For technology is wondrous. It can take you far and wide. It creates a future boundless, helps your business make bold strides. In global markets or down under, we'll be there to help you strive. And together, we'll do wonders. For together, we can thrive.
A very special mahalo to the 2016 PTC Board of Governors for their year-round leadership and support. PTC-17 is made possible in part by the generosity of the PTC-17 sponsors. Mahalo to each of the PTC Gold sponsors. Thank you for all of your support. Aloha everyone, I'm here with Satoshi Adachi. He's from the KDDI Corporation. He's actually the General Manager of the Global ICT Division. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And you came all the way from Japan.
Yes, that's right. That's
A
right.
lot of people did too, right?
Yes,
Okay.
we have 30 people from our company.
Wonderful.
Yes.
All right, well, let's dive into the topic. Tell me a little bit about your company and what your role is.
Sure. KDDI is one of the Asian largest telecom carriers. We are providing the services ranging from network infrastructure, system integration, and mobile phones and data center. That actually is leading us to be able to be a one-stop solution provider. And my role is to take care of global business strategy especially for system integration and data center across the globe.
Excellent. What do you see is the current trend that you're noticing?
When it comes to the data center sector, since we opened the first data center in New York 30 years ago, we've been serving the customers like, internet service providers, telecom carriers, and financial banking customers. And recently, I'm seeing the trend of OTT and the cloud players and media providers is going up. So we are trying to improve the connectivity environment inside a data center.
I bet because a lot of people are on their phones and streaming things and watching
Right,
things.
correct. This is basically driven by real-time and video transactions. That's exactly right. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing to improve connectivity.
Customer needs for connectivity is based on quality and quantity. In terms of quality, we are trying to enhance the services partnering with cloud service players and OTT players and many real-time service providers. Then in terms of quantity, we are trying to increase the connection by inviting, for example, internet exchange providers and obviously carriers and another newer cloud players. That's what we are doing. And in London and Paris, we've successfully done that one last year. So this year we are trying to expand that activity to Asia Pacific as well as US.
Tell me a little bit about the APAC sustainability growth and what you'll see in the near future, what KDDI's strategy is in terms of utilizing them for data.
Right. From an ICT service point of view, we've been providing services with the customers ranging from network infrastructures, system integrations. What we are doing. That as one of the sample, we've acquired Cisco Gold Partner certificate in that country as a first provider for the first time, actually. So this is just one of the sample, but as everybody is expecting the economic growth in that area, we are trying to, more focused on enhancement of IT investment for professional resources. This is what we are trying to do.
Wonderful. All right.
you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you very much.
Adachi-san.
Thank you.
Aloha. Visit the PTC Pavilion and meet with the PTC-17 exhibitors to learn about the latest in systems, products, and services. The exhibits are located in the PTC Pavilion in Coral Ballrooms 4 and 5 of the Mid-Pacific Conference Center. In addition to the exhibits, the PTC Pavilion also features meeting cubicles, meeting tables, conference luncheons, and more. The PTC Pavilion can be accessed with any PTC-17 badge and is also open to the general public by providing a business card to the Pavilion booth.
The cloud. It's changing the way we do business. Push the limits of innovation and enter the cloud into our secure, intuitive, and responsive ecosystem. With our subsea network spanning the globe, we deliver unsurpassed coverage into the world's fastest growing markets with flexible and scalable solutions. We are a technology company that sits at the crossroads of where the future clouds will migrate. Global Cloud Exchange. The cloud revolutionized.
Are you plugged into social media? Then join the conversation online. Follow PTC Council on Twitter and use PTC hashtag #PTC'17. You can also like Pacific Telecommunications Council on Facebook. Looking to pick up your registration badge and materials or register for PTC-17? Visit the PTC-17 registration booth located in the Coral Lounge on the 6th floor of the Mid-Pacific Conference Center at the Hilton Hawaiian Village Beach Resort. The registration booth is open every day starting at 8 a.m. Please remember to bring a valid form of photo identification with you to claim your registration badge and materials.
Hi, I'm Gary Kim with PTC-TV. I'm here today with Bill Barney, the CEO of Reliance Communications, which, as most of you know or should know, is an entity owned by one of the largest companies in the world, certainly one of the largest in India. You have a portfolio now that covers enterprise, mobile, undersea. Let's start with undersea.
Yep.
Tell me what you see happening in the coming year in terms of bandwidth and bandwidth demand and what's driving it and where it is and where it has to go.
Well, I think we're at an interesting period. In the last 12 months, we've seen built and announced 5 cables by new players from the industry, OTT players versus traditional telco operators, and I think that's really showing you what's happening on the what I would call the proprietary demand side of these companies. So Microsoft, Google, these companies now are really having to build their own infrastructure, which really shows you, I think, that we're in that second coming of data. And it's interesting, I think networks are now changing from where they used to be pointing at internet locations to where they're pointing to cloud locations. And so it's not only these companies are coming with their internet infrastructure, but they're also coming with their cloud infrastructure, and the importance of actually having access to those cloud points are very, very important. And I think that's going to be the next stage in where cables are built and how it actually gets built around the world.
So the global architecture has become a cloud architecture at its core.
Yeah, and I think it's largely because enterprises have put most of their compute into the cloud. Mm-hmm. And so that's really changed. It used to be a US-centric model. I think it's going to be a cloud-centric model, and it's going to be a data center-centric model where large data centers or large locations where cloud has been enabled, and that infrastructure sits either for storage or for compute are going to be where networks are going to point towards, as opposed to necessarily pointing into PAX and Hudson Street and some of the key locations in the United States. I think it's going to change, and it's going to be an evolution, but it will happen over the next couple of years.
I'm hearing a lot about SD-WAN this year. Why am I hearing that?
Well, I think it's the first technology that really allows you to provide wide area network services into the emerging markets. And markets that were difficult to get to, now you've got a solution. It's seamless to the customer. You can go in there and you can essentially offer them the experience that they could have in a developed market, in an emerging market. And the technology is pretty easy to manage. And I think this is one of the outputs of cloud computing, is that you really have content delivery type networks that are being built inside these networks that now allow you to deploy this types of speeds over what used to be the public internet, right? So we're in a good space right now in terms of the opportunity which SD-WAN, and I think this is going to be a lot of advancement in the next 2 years. I think you're going to hear a lot about this over the next 24 months.
You've been talking a lot about mobile, which I've not heard you talk about in the past, partly because you're in charge of it now.
Yeah.
What do you see happening in mobile? How does that relate to fixed line? What's the interplay?
Well, I think let's go back 15 years to when we were largely in a voice market and we went to an internet market or a data market in the fixed line space. That's happening in mobile. And I think this is really going to change how mobile operators look at their businesses. I think we're going to change from a minutes business to a megabits business. And that's going to mean a totally different network than's been put in place. Microwaves will leave, fiber will arrive. Spectrum is going to have to be managed very, very carefully. And also how you actually, most of the large data providers in the mobile space are also going to be data center operators. The one thing I've seen in India is, with the explosion that they've had in the data market in the last 4 or 5 months, there's also been an explosion in the data center market. So if you look at the number of racks consumed, has almost doubled, okay, in the last 4 months. So as you have, there's an ecosystem here that plays all the way down through the supply chain. And I think that's going to be the interesting thing that happens, is that a traditional wireless company didn't really think of themselves as having to be a content manager. And they now have to be in that business, and they never had to be in that business before. So it's a very interesting time right now for these operators.
So it's really content now becoming the thing that drives global bandwidth, data centers, where you need to go,
Yep.
how you get there, what you need when you get there.
Because you and I communicate with each other in the mobile space now in a very different way.
Yeah.
We're using a social network, we're sharing photos, we're sharing videos, we're actually trying to talk to each other, and we're moving large packets between each other, as opposed to picking up the phone and calling each other. And it's good and bad. And in some ways it's good in that it's not real time all the time. You can move stuff at will, and there's different types of traffic engineering that can be played. But it is requiring much bigger networks and much more sophisticated networks and much more capital intensive networks. So the interesting thing is, it used to be spectrum was your biggest cost. It's no longer. Now you got all this other infrastructure that you got to worry about. And a lot of the marketing guys that are actually running these wireless telcos have now got a whole new world they got to learn about. And it's interesting. They're almost becoming cable TV operators at the same time they're telco guys. And it's really creating an interesting world that everyone's going to have to sort of adapt to in that space. And it's interesting to watch. I'm actually in India, where it's an emerging market. You've got a new entrant that's come in, offered essentially free services for 4 months, and they've taken 50 million subscribers in 80 days. You know, fantastic growth, but it also has had an impact on the other 500 million subscribers that are out there that are data users, and how they actually, access their networks. And I think that's changed how, in my mind, it's a bellwether of what will happen everywhere else in the world as you start to see 4G, LTE start to become just native technologies in these locations.
So you're a person who's been in the industry since 2000, 2001. You know about free capacity and what that does to a market. What would you expect to see in India and then elsewhere around the planet as this sort of thing happens?
Well, I think there's a correction that'll happen, right? So there's going to be, and what happens in these corrections are, unfortunately, sometimes there's restructurings that happen. There's consolidation. Typically, there'll be a lot of companies coming together because they have to, because it's still a capital-intensive industry, and if you look at the cost, the amount of capital per user, is tripling when you go from the voice to the data business. And in order to manage that, you actually have to have a much more consolidated industry everywhere. And I think that's one of the things that we're going to see, is there will be massive consolidation. And unfortunately, free markets like like India, it has to happen by people getting together. Whereas in other markets, you can essentially, the government mandates these things. So I think, but it will happen. So we're going to see a lot of mergers and acquisitions. I think we're going to see a lot of. I think you're going to see a lot of stress as well. There'll be a lot of stress in the market for the next 2 years. So it'll be growth, but not necessarily healthy growth. It's going to be hard growth.
Seen this before.
Yeah, I think we're going to be. It's going to be an interesting period for us. I think in all of us in the industry, it'll be good and bad. But I think we'll come out the door in a positive place in 2 to 3 years. But I think this is going to be 24 months of fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the ride, and hopefully manage appropriately through it.
Bill, thanks very
Gary.
much. Fascinating as always.
Yeah, good to see you.
And thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Join us for the Tuesday evening reception. All full conference delegates and delegates holding a one-day registration pass for Tuesday are invited to attend the Tuesday evening reception. The reception starts at 6:30 p.m. and will take place on the Great Lawn at the Hilton Hawaiian Village Waikiki Beach Resort. A valid badge is required to attend the Tuesday evening reception, so please remember to bring your badge with you. If you would like to bring a guest, please make sure your guest has a guest ticket. Guest tickets will be available for purchase at the door for $85. PTC-17 is made possible in part by the generosity of the PTC-17 sponsors. Mahalo to each of the PTC Silver sponsors. Thank you for all of your support. During PTC-17, the PTC Secretariat will be located in C Pearl 3 on the 6th floor of the Mid-Pacific Conference Center at the Hilton Hawaiian Village Waikiki Beach Resort. If you need assistance from a member of the Secretariat, please visit C Pearl 3.
Over the past 2,000 years, the Silk Road stretched a long way to connect between the East and the West, running across mountains and rivers, nurturing friendships and ever-thriving business cooperation. As part of the story, China Unicom has inherited the mission to enable the channel of information between the East and the West, and becoming a heart-to-heart connection between people.
Your PTC-17 registration includes wireless internet access at the following locations throughout the Hilton Hawaiian Village Waikiki Beach Resort: Mid-Pacific Conference Center, Kalia Conference Center, Tapa Conference Center, Super Pool, Tapa Pool and Bar, Starbucks. PTC-17 is made possible in part by the generosity of the PTC-17 sponsors. Mahalo to each of the PTC Bronze sponsors. Thank you all for your support. PTC-17 guests were greeted with this wonderful welcome reception which took them from the shores of Waikiki all the way to Bourbon Street. Is this your first time to Hawaii?
This is not to Hawaii. First PTC though.
Okay. Anything you're looking forward to?
Just meeting all the different types of people here, the different industries, the different kind of business types that are here. It's kind of interesting how that everyone's got the same kind of interests, but from lots of different perspectives at the same time.
What a great opportunity for people to make new friends and meet new people and also celebrate. Hit it, guys! Thanks for watching PTC TV. Be sure to join us again tomorrow. Until then, aloha.